All right, how do we put it all together now for our final submission? Again, I got a little PowerPoint more just to remind me of what I want to talk about here, but so let's take a look at that quickly. So organizing the plan, right? How do we start and finish actually putting it together? This gets, you've all done this, or you've typed this up in Word, and it gets to be a little bit difficult at times, and I think I'll talk about that when you start putting in the financial statements and those types of things, and you add those into what we're doing here. It can be a little bit daunting. If you actually have professional PDF, it can be better, and some of you might want to consider using Publisher, Microsoft Publisher, and you should have access to that, I believe. So you could sure throw stuff in there and it would probably work pretty well. So we got to have a cover page, right? On that cover page we should have the business name. That should be front and center, the address, who's doing the project, you know, your group, all your group folks, who it's for. So it's going to be for this class, not necessarily who it's for, but for entrepreneurship class, BMGT, whatever it is, 494, something like that. The date, who it's for, or at least what it's for. And it can have other pertinent information. I know I talked in the other one. Some people maybe like to put their mission statement on there. If you've written a good mission statement, that may go on the front page. A relatively short mission statement. Okay, and again, this is your chance. You could pretty this thing up a little bit if you want to. So the table of contents, obviously you're going to save that for last because you have to figure out where everything goes or what pages things start on. Okay. Always make sure, it's just a reminder too, that the major sections should always start on a new page. So if you finish the business description and you only use a quarter of a page, fine, you don't start the marketing until the top of the next page. Okay, always make sure that the major sections do that. Okay, save for last, you should number the pages. Again, this may get to be a little bit tricky if you try to do it in Word. You're going to take those financials and probably copy and paste those onto Word. Again, Publisher may be it may work better. Okay, it may work better to use the snippet tool rather than a copy and a paste. Okay, because then you're actually kind of pasting a JPEG or a picture versus copying and pasting the data, and it'll try to reformat that if you put it into Word. And using Publisher again might be better. So, and appendices might not be numbered, and so what do I mean by that? If you're having some troubles doing this, you can number all the narrative because that's going to go first, right? And then you might say the financials are Appendix A, that the management and organization stuff is Appendix B. If you have other stuff for marketing, say that's Appendix C, like a menu or something like that. So you could have just separate letters for the appendix, and that's how it would show up in your table of contents. So you'd have the numbers for all the narrative sections, and then you could say Appendix A, financials, Appendix B, etc. Your executive summary is the last thing to be written. And again, it has to be persuasive. I've kind of talked about that in a separate video. So, description of the business along with the location, etc. Right? This is the order that we should put things in too. As you're creating your plan, this is the order that things should be in. So, the description of the business, organizational management plan, then we come after that, plus references, brief descriptions, most supporting documents, so make sure you have those references. And again, the reference could be to Appendix B, say, or specific pages if you have those. Okay, marketing plan is going to be the longest portion. It should be of the overall plan. And then the financial plan, that's your narrative, and they should probably be first in the appendix. Kind of the last thing that you write about, but it's probably going to be first in the appendix. It's the thing that a banker or investor is most going to want to look at. And then the appendix is all those supporting documents, financial statements, all the stuff that we had in the management and organization, your name registration, tax returns, personal financial statements, resumes, etc. Those are all going to be in that part. And you may have others for marketing or business description. Maybe you got some photos or something that you didn't include in the narrative that you might want to include in there. Okay, so here it is, and just the breakdown, how it's going to look when you get all done. You're going to have the cover page, table of contents, executive summary, business description, the organizational management organizational plan, the marketing, the financial section, and the appendix. There you have it. Good luck, and if you have questions, make sure you give me a holler.